The man who came back begging. 3 years after he broke her heart, Daniel came back. Not with flowers. Not with an apology. Not even with the confidence he once carried like he owned the world. He came back looking tired, frightened, and desperate. Maya was sitting behind a large glass desk when her assistant quietly entered the room. "There is someone here to see you," she said. Maya looked up from the papers in front of her. "Who?" The assistant hesitated. "He says you know him." Maya frowned. "What's his name?" The assistant lowered her voice. "Daniel Carter." For a moment, Maya could not breathe. That name belonged to a life she had worked very hard to forget. Daniel. Her former boyfriend. The man who had once promised to marry her. The man who had held her hand and told her she was the only woman he would ever love. The same man who had left her for someone else. Maya slowly put her pen down. "Tell him I'm busy." The assistant nodded. Then she stopped at the door. "He said he will wait." Maya looked toward the window. Outside, the city moved as usual. Cars passed. People walked between buildings. Everything looked normal. But inside her office, the past had suddenly returned. "Let him wait," she said. The assistant left. Maya tried to continue working. She couldn't. She stared at the same sentence for almost a minute. Then she remembered the night Daniel left. She remembered his suitcase. His cold voice. And the woman waiting for him outside. 3 years had passed. Maya had changed since then. She was no longer the young woman who cried herself to sleep after Daniel walked away. She had built a new life. She had started a small design company from almost nothing. At first, it had been difficult. She worked long hours. She made mistakes. She lost clients. There were nights when she wondered if she had made the right choice. But she kept going. Slowly, her company grew. She became independent. She bought her own apartment. She built a small team. Most importantly, she learned how to live without Daniel. She had not thought about him for months. Until today. Maya stood and walked toward the office door. She opened it. Daniel was sitting in the waiting area. The sight of him surprised her. He looked nothing like the man she remembered. His expensive clothes were gone. His hair was messy. There were dark circles under his eyes. He looked like someone who had not slept properly in weeks. When he saw Maya, he stood immediately. "Maya." She said nothing. He looked at her for several seconds. "You look good." She gave him a calm expression. "You wanted to see me." Daniel swallowed. "Yes." "Why?" He looked down. "I need to talk to you." "You had 3 years to talk." "I know." Maya crossed her arms. "Then talk." Daniel looked around the room. "Can we go somewhere private?" "No." His face tightened. "This is important." "So was what you did to me." Daniel closed his eyes for a moment. "I know." Maya felt something strange. Years ago, she had dreamed about hearing those words. She had wanted him to admit that he had hurt her. Now that he finally said it, she felt almost nothing. "What do you want?" she asked. Daniel looked directly at her. "I need your help." Maya almost laughed. Not because it was funny. Because it was unbelievable. "You need my help?" "Yes." "The same person you left behind?" Daniel nodded. "The same person you told everyone was too difficult to be with?" His eyes dropped. "Yes." "The same person you replaced?" Daniel said nothing. Maya stepped back. "You should leave." "Maya, please." She stopped. There was something in his voice. Fear. Real fear. She turned around. "What happened?" Daniel took a slow breath. "My life fell apart." Maya stared at him. He told her that his company was struggling. He had lost several major clients. His debts were growing. His house was close to being taken by the bank. Even his friends had started avoiding him. Maya listened quietly. She did not feel happy. She had imagined this moment many times. In those dreams, she watched Daniel suffer and felt satisfied. But reality was different. She simply felt tired. And the woman you left me for? Maya asked. Daniel's face changed. She left. Maya raised an eyebrow. She left you? Yes. When? About 6 months ago. And now you came here. Daniel looked ashamed. I didn't know where else to go. Maya shook her head. You knew exactly where to go. Daniel looked at her. You knew I would help you. No, she said quietly. You came because you hoped I would. Daniel took a step closer. Maya, I made mistakes. You made choices. I was stupid. You were cruel. I know. You knew exactly what you were doing. Daniel had no answer. Maya remembered the beginning of their relationship. They had met at a small coffee shop. Daniel had been working at a local company then. He was ambitious and charming. Maya loved the way he talked about the future. He told her they would travel together. He told her they would buy a house. He told her she was the woman he wanted beside him when he became successful. Maya believed every word. She supported him when his career was struggling. She helped him prepare for interviews. She stayed awake when he worked late. When he started his own business, she used her savings to help him. She never asked for anything in return. Then things changed. Daniel started coming home late. He stopped answering messages. He became protective of his phone. Whenever Maya asked questions, he accused her of being jealous. Then one evening, she found a message. It was from another woman. The message was simple. I miss you. I can't wait until she is gone. Maya remembered staring at the screen for almost a minute. She had felt the room disappear around her. When Daniel came home, she confronted him. At first, he denied everything. Then he became angry. Then he finally admitted it. There was another woman. Her name was Olivia. Daniel told Maya he had fallen in love with Olivia. He said his relationship with Maya had become boring. He said he wanted a different life. Those words had destroyed something inside her. But the worst part came later. Daniel packed his bags. Maya stood near the door. She still remembered asking him one question. Was any of it real? Daniel had looked at her without emotion. Some of it. Then he walked away. That sentence stayed with her for years. Now, 3 years later, he was standing in front of her again. Begging. Maya, he said, I know I don't deserve anything from you. She looked at him. Then why are you here? Daniel hesitated. There is something else. Maya waited. He reached into his jacket and pulled out an old envelope. His hands were shaking. What is that? Something I should have shown you years ago. Maya did not take it. What is inside? Daniel looked at the envelope. I found it after Olivia left. Maya's eyes narrowed. What does Olivia have to do with this? Daniel looked uncomfortable. She wasn't the reason I left you. Maya froze. What? Daniel swallowed. I thought she was. Maya stared at him. You left me for her. I know. You told me you loved her. I know. Then what are you saying? Daniel slowly placed the envelope on her desk. There was something happening behind our backs. Maya looked at the envelope. What? Daniel's voice became quiet. I discovered that Olivia had been lying to me. Maya said nothing. And she wasn't the only one. The room suddenly felt colder. Maya looked at the envelope again. Who else? Daniel did not answer. He simply looked at her with the same fear she had seen when he first arrived. Then he said something that made her heart stop. Maya, you need to know why I really left you. She stared at him. For 3 years, she had believed the story was simple. He had fallen in love with another woman. He had chosen her. He had abandoned Maya. But now Daniel was telling her that the story had been a lie. Maya slowly reached for the envelope. Her fingers touched the paper. She looked at Daniel. If I open this, she said, there is no going back. Daniel nodded. I know. Maya opened the envelope. Inside was a photograph. She pulled it out. Her eyes moved across the picture. Then her face went completely still. It was Daniel. It was Olivia. And there was another person standing between them. Someone Maya knew. Someone she had trusted. Someone who had been close to her during the worst days of her breakup. Maya looked up at Daniel. Why was this person with you? Daniel's eyes filled with fear. Because, he whispered, that person was the reason everything happened. Maya stared at the photograph. For the first time in 3 years, she realized something terrifying. Daniel had not come back because his life had fallen apart. He had come back because the truth was finally catching up with all of them. The betrayal gets worse. Maya could not take her eyes off the photograph. The person standing beside Daniel and Olivia was someone she had trusted for years. Her closest friend, Sarah. Sarah had been there the night Daniel left. She had held Maya while she cried. She had told Maya that Daniel was a selfish man who did not deserve her. She had promised Maya that she would never forgive him. Now Maya was staring at a photograph showing Sarah standing beside him. For several seconds, neither Maya nor Daniel spoke. Finally, Maya placed the photograph on the desk. How long? Daniel looked down. Before I answer, you need to understand something. No. Her voice was calm. That is not an answer. Daniel took a breath. Sarah contacted Olivia first. Maya's face became still. What? She knew Olivia before I did. Maya shook her head. That doesn't make sense. I know. Sarah hated Olivia. She pretended to. Maya stepped away from the desk. Her mind raced. There were too many memories. Sarah sitting beside her after the breakup. Sarah telling her that Daniel had probably been cheating for months. Sarah encouraging her to block him. Sarah telling her that Daniel would eventually regret what he had done. All those moments suddenly felt different. Why? Maya asked. Daniel looked at the photograph. Because Sarah wanted something. What? He hesitated. She wanted your life. Maya stared at him. My life. Your job. Your connections. Your money. Maya almost laughed. That is impossible. Daniel reached into his pocket. He pulled out his phone. I thought the same thing. He opened an old message thread and placed the phone on the desk. Maya looked at the screen. The messages were between Sarah and Olivia. At first, they looked harmless. Then she saw the dates. They had started talking months before Daniel left. The messages slowly became darker. Sarah had asked Olivia questions about Daniel. Where he went. Who he trusted. What he planned to do with his business. But then the questions changed. Sarah wanted to know about Maya. Her savings. Her work. Her family. The people she knew. Maya felt a cold feeling in her stomach. Why would Sarah care about these things? Daniel looked at her. Because she was planning something. Maya kept reading. One message stopped her. Sarah had written. Once Maya is out of the way, everything becomes easier. Maya's hand moved away from the phone. What does that mean? Daniel shook his head. I didn't understand it at first. And now? Now I think I do. Maya looked at him. Then tell me. Daniel sat down. His voice became quieter. Your business idea. Maya frowned. What about it? Sarah knew about it before anyone else. Maya's eyes narrowed. Her company had started with an idea she had discussed only with people she trusted. Sarah had been one of those people. She told me I should start it, Maya said. Daniel nodded. She told you because she knew what you were planning. Maya's heart began beating faster. She remembered those conversations. Sarah had encouraged her to leave her old job. She had told Maya that she had talent. She had pushed her to take risks. At the time, it had felt like friendship. Now it felt like something else. What did Sarah gain? Daniel looked uncomfortable. Your business was not the only thing she wanted. Maya waited. Daniel opened another file. It contained copies of old financial documents. Maya looked at them carefully. Some names were familiar. Some were not. Then she saw Sarah's name. Her eyes widened. Why is she listed here? Daniel leaned forward. She had access to information about your accounts. Maya stepped back. How? Daniel did not answer immediately. Then he said, "You gave it to her." Maya remembered. Years ago, when she was preparing to invest her savings into her business, Sarah had helped organize some documents. Maya had trusted her completely. She had never imagined that Sarah could use that trust against her. Did she steal from me? No. Daniel shook his head. Not directly. Maya looked at him. Then what did she do? She tried to make you look financially unstable. Maya's expression changed. Daniel explained that Sarah had secretly passed information to people connected to Daniel. The goal was to make Maya appear unreliable. If Maya's business failed, she would have been forced to sell some of her assets. And someone was prepared to buy them. Maya slowly sat down. Who? Daniel looked at her. My business partner. The room became silent. Maya had never met him closely. She knew his name, but she had never trusted him. Daniel continued. He believed your property would be worth much more later. Maya looked at the documents again. So all of this was about money? Partly. What else? Daniel looked away. There was another reason. Maya waited. Daniel's silence frightened her more than his words. Tell me. He finally looked up. Sarah wanted you isolated. Maya's face tightened. Why? Because she knew you would never agree to certain things if you had people around you who could question what was happening. Maya felt tears forming in her eyes. Not because she missed Sarah. Because she remembered how completely she had trusted her. She had defended Sarah. She had called her family. She had shared private details about her relationship. And Sarah had been collecting information. But something still did not make sense. Maya looked at Daniel. If Sarah was behind all this, why did you leave me? Daniel became silent. Maya's voice hardened. Answer me. He looked ashamed. Because I believed her. Maya stared at him. She told me you were planning to leave me first. Maya's eyes widened. She said you had another man. What? She showed me messages. Fake messages. Daniel nodded. I didn't know they were fake. Maya felt sick. Sarah had created a lie. Then she had watched that lie destroy Maya's relationship. But Daniel was not innocent. He had believed the worst without asking Maya. He had chosen another woman without giving Maya a chance to explain. And now he was standing in front of her asking for forgiveness. Maya looked at him coldly. You still left. I know. You still cheated. I know. You still humiliated me. I know. Daniel's voice broke. I was wrong. Maya looked away. For the first time, Daniel seemed genuinely ashamed. But she did not forgive him. Not yet. Then her phone rang. She looked at the screen. It was Sarah. Maya stared at the name. Daniel saw it too. Don't answer. Maya looked at him. Why? She knows I came here. Maya frowned. How? Daniel's face changed. She has been watching me. Maya answered the call. Hello. There was silence. Then Sarah's voice came through. Maya. Her voice sounded calm. Too calm. Where are you? Maya did not answer. Sarah continued. I need to talk to you. About what? Another pause. Daniel. Maya looked at him. He was staring at the floor. Sarah's voice became softer. He told you, didn't he? Maya felt her stomach tighten. Told me what? Sarah laughed quietly. You really don't know. Maya gripped the phone. Know what? Sarah did not answer. Instead, she said. Ask Daniel where he got those documents. Maya looked at him. Daniel's face had gone pale. Sarah continued. And then ask him why he kept them hidden for 3 years. The call ended. Maya slowly lowered the phone. She turned toward Daniel. What did she mean? Daniel said nothing. Maya stood. You said you found the documents after Olivia left. I did. Then why does Sarah know about them? Daniel looked trapped. Maya walked closer. What are you hiding? He rubbed his face. There is something I didn't tell you. What? Daniel took a long breath. The documents were not found after Olivia left. Maya froze. Then when? Daniel looked directly into her eyes. 3 years ago. Her heart sank. Before you left me. Yes. Maya's voice became barely audible. You knew. I knew something was wrong. And you still left. I was afraid. Afraid of what? Daniel looked toward the window. Then he said the words that made Maya's blood run cold. Because the night I left you, someone threatened me. Maya stared at him. Who? Daniel's lips trembled. I never saw their face. He paused. But I heard their voice. Maya waited. Daniel finally whispered. It was someone who knew everything about you. Maya's phone suddenly buzzed. A new message had arrived. There was no name. Only a photograph. Maya opened it. Her face went pale. The photograph had been taken outside her office only minutes earlier. It showed Maya standing beside Daniel. Someone had been watching them. And beneath the photograph were 5 words. Stop digging, or she pays. The lowest point. Maya stared at the photograph on her phone. It showed her standing beside Daniel outside her office. The picture had been taken only minutes ago. Whoever had taken it had been close. Very close. And beneath the photograph were 5 words. Stop digging, or she pays. Maya's fingers went cold. She slowly looked at Daniel. Who is she? Daniel did not answer. Maya's voice became sharper. Who are they threatening? Daniel looked at her with fear in his eyes. Your mother. Maya stopped breathing for a moment. Her mother lived in another city. She had nothing to do with Daniel, Sarah, Olivia, or his business. At least, that was what Maya believed. She immediately called her mother. The phone rang. Once. Twice. 3 times. No answer. Maya tried again. Still nothing. Her heart began to race. She grabbed her coat. I'm leaving. Daniel stood. I'll come with you. No. Maya. You brought this into my life once already. She pointed toward the door. I don't know what you have been hiding, but I am not trusting you again. Daniel looked hurt. But he did not argue. Maya left the office alone. The drive to her mother's house felt endless. Every car behind her seemed suspicious. Every person on the sidewalk made her nervous. She kept calling her mother. Still nothing. When Maya finally reached the house, the front door was locked. She knocked. No answer. Her hands shook as she searched for her key. The moment she opened the door, she knew something was wrong. The living room was empty. A chair had been knocked over. One of the picture frames on the wall was broken. Mum. Silence. Maya ran through the house. The kitchen was empty. The bedroom was empty. The back door was open. Then she heard a sound. A small cough. She turned. Her mother was sitting behind the kitchen table. Her face was pale. Maya. Maya rushed toward her. Are you okay? Her mother nodded. I think so. What happened? I heard someone outside. Did you see them? Her mother shook her head. They left before I opened the door. Maya hugged her tightly. For the first time in years, she felt like the frightened young woman she had been after Daniel left. But this time, she refused to break. She called the police. She told them everything. The photograph. The threat. The damaged chair. The unknown person outside the house. While they waited, Maya noticed something on the kitchen table. An envelope. Her name was written on it. She stared at it. Where did this come from? Her mother looked confused. I don't know. Maya opened it carefully. Inside was a single sheet of paper. There were no threats. No demands. Only one sentence. You were never supposed to find the account. Maya read it twice. What account? Her mother looked at her. I don't know. Maya immediately thought of the documents Daniel had shown her. The financial records. The names. The hidden plan. But there was something she had missed. An account. She called Daniel. He answered immediately. Are you safe? My mother is safe. Daniel let out a breath. Thank God. Maya ignored his relief. What account were you talking about? There was silence. Daniel. I don't know what you mean. Someone left a message at my mother's house. What did it say? Maya told him. Daniel became quiet. Then he said something that frightened her. There was an account. Maya closed her eyes. What kind? It was opened in your name. Her eyes opened. What? Daniel explained that years earlier, while he and Maya were together, someone had created a private financial account connected to her information. Maya had never opened it. She had never signed anything. But money had moved through it. Large amounts. Whose money? She asked. We don't know. Then how did you know about it? Daniel hesitated. I found the account while checking company records. And you never told me. I tried. No. Maya's voice was filled with anger. You knew about it before you left me. Yes. And you said nothing. I was trying to protect you. By leaving me. Daniel had no answer. Maya ended the call. She sat beside her mother. For the first time, the full weight of everything began to hit her. Her boyfriend had betrayed her. Her closest friend had lied to her. Someone had used her name. Someone had threatened her mother. And Daniel had known about part of it. She felt trapped. For 3 years, she had believed she was rebuilding a normal life. Now she wondered if that life had been built on top of a secret she never knew existed. The next morning, Maya went to the bank. She showed them her identification. She explained the situation. After several checks, the bank manager returned with a serious expression. There is an account connected to your identity. Maya's stomach tightened. When was it opened? 3 years ago. Who opened it? The manager looked at her. That is the problem. What problem? There are documents showing your signature. Maya stared at him. My signature? Yes. But I never signed anything. The manager placed a copy on the desk. Maya looked at the signature. It looked like hers. Almost perfect. But she knew she had not signed it. Someone had copied her handwriting. She suddenly remembered something. 3 years earlier, Sarah had helped her organize important paperwork. Maya had trusted her with copies of her identification. Her old bank statements. Her signature. Everything. Maya felt sick. Sarah had not simply betrayed her friendship. She may have used Maya's identity. The bank manager continued. There is another problem. Maya looked up. What? The account received money from a company connected to your former boyfriend. Maya froze. Daniel. Money had moved from Daniel's company into an account using her name. She immediately understood how dangerous this could be. If someone had been using her identity to move money, Maya could be blamed for it. She could lose everything. Her business. Her savings. Her reputation. Maybe even her freedom. For the first time, she understood why someone had threatened her. They were not simply trying to scare her. They were trying to stop her from finding evidence. Maya left the bank feeling empty. She drove to a quiet park and sat alone in her car. Rain tapped against the windshield. She thought about Daniel. Part of her still hated him. Another part wondered if he had been telling the truth. But one question would not leave her mind. Why had Daniel returned now? If he knew about the account 3 years ago, why had he waited until his life collapsed? Her phone rang. It was Daniel. She almost ignored it. Then she answered. What? I know what happened. Maya's eyes narrowed. What happened? The account. She said nothing. Daniel continued. I finally found the person who controlled it. Maya sat upright. Who? I can't tell you over the phone. Daniel, I don't have time for games. I'm not playing a game. His voice shook. I have proof. Proof of what? That Sarah was not working alone. Maya's heart sank. Who was helping her? Daniel was silent. Then he said, someone inside your company. Maya looked toward the office building in the distance. Her company. The people she trusted. The people she had hired herself. She suddenly remembered something. Only a small group of people knew about her private financial records. And one of them had joined her company during its earliest days. Daniel spoke again. You need to be careful. Maya whispered. Who is it? Before he could answer, the call ended. Maya tried calling back. No answer. Then she received another message. This time, there was no photograph. There was only a name. Sarah. Under it was a short message. You should have listened to Daniel. Maya stared at the screen. Then another message arrived. He was never the one we were afraid of. Maya's blood ran cold. She looked through the rain-covered windshield. Someone was standing across the street. A woman. Dark coat. Umbrella. Watching her. Maya opened the car door. The woman turned and walked away. Maya ran after her. But by the time she reached the corner, the woman was gone. Only the umbrella remained on the sidewalk. Maya slowly picked it up. Something was taped beneath the handle. A small memory card. She took it back to her car. Her hands shook as she looked at it. There was only one file on it. The file was dated 3 years earlier. Maya pressed play. A man's voice filled the car. She recognized it immediately. It was Daniel. But the recording was not a conversation between Daniel and Sarah. It was a conversation between Daniel and someone else. Someone Maya had never expected. And then she heard her own name. Daniel's voice said, if Maya finds out what we did, we're both finished. Maya stopped the recording. Her face went pale. For 3 years, she had believed Daniel was the man who betrayed her. Now she had proof that he had been hiding something much bigger. But the worst part was still missing. She did not know what we meant. And if Daniel had been involved, then perhaps his return was never about regret. Perhaps he had come back because Maya had unknowingly discovered the one secret that could destroy them all. The revenge plan begins. Maya sat alone in her car, staring at the memory card. The recording had ended, but Daniel's voice still echoed in her mind. If Maya finds out what we did, we're both finished. For 3 years, she had believed Daniel was simply a cruel man who had fallen in love with another woman. Now she knew there had been more. Much more. But one question was eating at her. What had they done? Maya looked at the memory card again. She could have called Daniel. She could have demanded answers. But she knew better now. Daniel had hidden the truth once. He could hide it again. So Maya did something different. She decided to investigate without telling anyone. She drove home and locked every door. Then she connected the memory card to her laptop. There were 12 files. The first was an audio recording. The second was a bank statement. The third was a photograph. The fourth was a scanned document. Maya opened the document. Her hands became cold. It was a copy of an agreement from 3 years earlier. Her name was printed at the bottom. Her signature was there. Again. A perfect copy. But she had never signed it. The agreement gave someone permission to access certain business records under her name. Maya read the document twice. Then she noticed another name. Sarah Bennett. Her heart sank. Sarah had been given access. But why? Maya opened the next file. It was a bank statement. Large amounts of money had moved through the account. Money came in. Then it disappeared. The amounts were too large to ignore. Maya began writing down every date and every name. She noticed something strange. The money transfers always happened shortly before Daniel's company made major purchases. She looked at the dates again. Then she noticed something even more disturbing. The transfers had stopped the exact week Daniel left her. Maya leaned back in her chair. She finally understood why Daniel had returned. His life was falling apart because something from the past had returned. But she still did not know what he and Sarah had done. She played the recording again. This time, she listened carefully. Daniel's voice came first. "I can't keep doing this." Another voice answered. "Then you should have thought about that before." Maya froze. She knew that voice. It belonged to Sarah. Daniel sounded nervous. What if Maya finds out? Sarah laughed. "She won't. You don't know that. I know Maya." Maya stopped the recording. Her hands were shaking. Sarah knew her. Of course she did. She knew exactly what Maya would believe. She knew how to make Maya doubt herself. She knew how to make Daniel believe lies about her. But there was something else. Something Maya had not considered. Sarah had not simply wanted Daniel. She had wanted control. Maya opened another file. It contained a photograph of Sarah sitting inside Daniel's office. Beside her was Daniel's business partner. The same man Daniel had mentioned before. Maya studied the photograph. Then she noticed something on the desk. A folder. She zoomed in. The label was clear. Maya Carter, Personal Assets. Maya stared at it. She had never been married to Daniel. But someone had been preparing documents as if she were already part of his business. She opened another file. It was an old email. The sender was Sarah. The recipient was Daniel. The subject line read, "The final step." Maya's heart beat faster. She opened it. The message was short. Sarah had written that Daniel needed to convince Maya to invest more money into a business project. Then he needed to make her believe the investment had failed. Once Maya was financially weakened, Sarah said they could pressure her into selling one of her properties. Maya stopped reading. Her eyes filled with tears. Not because of the money. Because of how completely she had trusted them. She had invited Sarah into her home. She had introduced Daniel to her family. She had defended both of them. And they had been planning against her. Maya closed the laptop. She sat silently for several minutes. Then she wiped her eyes. Something inside her had changed. She no longer wanted answers. She wanted the truth. And she wanted everyone responsible to face it. But she knew she could not rush. If Sarah was still watching her, one mistake could destroy everything. Maya called someone she trusted. Her former college professor, Mr. Harris. He was now a lawyer who helped small businesses. She did not tell him everything over the phone. She only said she had discovered financial documents that might involve identity fraud. They agreed to meet the next morning. The meeting lasted 2 hours. Maya showed him the documents. He read them carefully. Then he looked at her. "These signatures are not yours." "No. And you never gave Sarah permission to use your identity?" "Never." He nodded. "This could be serious." "I know. There is something else." He pointed to the financial records. "These transfers connect your identity to Daniel's company." Maya nodded. "That is why I think he is afraid." Mr. Harris looked at her. "Do you have the original files?" "No." "Then don't tell Daniel what you have." "I wasn't planning to." "Good." He leaned closer. "If someone has already threatened your mother, you should assume they know you are investigating." Maya nodded. She already knew. But she was not prepared for what happened next. When she returned to her office, her assistant was waiting. "We have a problem." Maya stopped. "What happened?" "There was someone in your office after hours last night." Maya's heart dropped. "Who?" "We don't know." "Was anything stolen?" The assistant shook her head. "Nothing obvious." Maya walked into her office. Everything looked normal. Her desk. Her laptop. Her files. Her shelves. Then she noticed one thing. A framed photograph of her and her mother had been moved. Maya picked it up. There was a small piece of paper beneath it. She unfolded it. Only 4 words were written. "Stop looking for Daniel." Maya stared at the message. That made no sense. Daniel was the one who had come to her. Daniel was the one who had brought the documents. Why would someone tell her to stop looking for him? Unless Daniel was not the real target. Unless someone was afraid she would discover what Daniel knew. Maya returned to her desk. She opened the laptop. Her company files were still there. But something had changed. A folder was missing. The folder contained records from the first year of her business. She had not deleted it. She checked the backup. It was gone there too. Someone had deliberately removed it. Maya called her assistant. Who has access to these files? The assistant listed several employees. Maya listened carefully. Then she heard a name that made her stop. Ethan. Yes. Since when has Ethan had access? Almost from the beginning. Maya remembered him. Ethan had joined the company when it was very small. He had been quiet and reliable. He had helped with financial records. He had stayed late when the company was struggling. Maya had trusted him. She had even considered him one of the most loyal people in the business. Now she wondered if that loyalty had been an act. Maya checked the security system. There was footage from the previous night. She watched it carefully. At 11:43 p.m., someone entered her office. The person wore a dark jacket and a cap. The face was hidden. But the person walked with a slight limp. Maya knew that walk. She had seen it many times. It belonged to Ethan. Her stomach tightened. She did not confront him. Instead, she waited. That evening, she called Daniel. He answered quickly. I was worried about you. Maya ignored the comment. Did Ethan work for you 3 years ago? There was silence. Yes. What did he do? Financial records. Maya closed her eyes. Was he involved? Daniel took a breath. I don't know. You do know. Maya. Tell me. His voice became quiet. Yes. Maya felt a strange calmness. What did he do? He helped Sarah move the money. Maya's heart sank. Why? I don't know. Daniel. I swear. He paused. Sarah told him she was protecting you. Maya almost laughed. Protecting me. That is what she said. Maya stood by the window. She finally saw the shape of the plan. Sarah had lied to Daniel. Daniel had lied to Maya. Ethan had helped Sarah. And someone had used Maya's identity to move money. But there was still one missing piece. Why? Why had they needed Maya's name? Maya asked Daniel. He went silent. Then she heard him whisper. Because the money wasn't stolen. Maya frowned. What? It was being moved for something bigger. What? Daniel's voice shook. I found out 3 years ago. Tell me. I couldn't. Why? Because when I found out, Sarah threatened me. Maya's eyes narrowed. With what? Daniel did not answer. Daniel. I had no choice. You always had a choice. I know. Maya waited. Finally, Daniel said. She had proof that I had signed something. What? I can't tell you. Maya's patience disappeared. Then we're done. No. Daniel's voice became desperate. You need to hear this. What? She didn't just use your name. He paused. She used it to buy something. Maya felt a chill move through her. Buy what? Daniel answered quietly. Your own company. Maya froze. For several seconds, she could not speak. Then she understood. The plan had never been about destroying her business. It had been about taking it. Sarah had been helping someone build a path toward ownership. And Maya had unknowingly been placed in the center of it. But before she could ask another question, Daniel said something that changed everything. Maya, there is one person you still haven't suspected. Who? Daniel's voice dropped to a whisper. The person who ordered all of this. The call suddenly ended. Maya looked at her phone. Then someone knocked on her office door. She turned. Ethan stood there. He smiled calmly. Ms. Maya, we need to talk. Maya stared at him. He closed the door behind him. Then he placed a folder on her desk. It contained her name. And beneath it was a document dated 3 years earlier. Ethan looked at her and said, "You finally found the truth." He smiled. "But you still don't know who started it, the major twist and confrontation." Maya stared at Ethan. He stood on the other side of her desk with the calm expression of someone who had already decided how the conversation would end. The folder he had placed in front of her carried her name. Maya Carter. Her hands remained still. "How did you get this?" Ethan pulled out a chair. "You already know the answer. I want to hear you say it." He sat down. For several seconds, neither of them spoke.
Ethan sighed.
"You were never supposed to find any of this." Maya looked at him. "Who was behind it?" Ethan smiled faintly. "You still think it was Sarah?" Maya's eyes narrowed. "Wasn't it? Sarah was part of it. Daniel said she threatened him." "She did. Then who gave her the orders?" Ethan looked toward the office door. "Before I tell you, you need to understand something." Maya said nothing. "I never wanted to hurt you." Maya almost laughed. "You entered my office at night." "Yes." "You deleted my files." "Yes." "You helped move money through an account using my name." Ethan lowered his eyes. "Yes." "And you still say you didn't want to hurt me?" His voice became quiet. "I thought I was helping someone." "Who?" Ethan looked at her. "Your mother." Maya froze. "What?" Ethan opened the folder. Inside were several old documents. One showed her mother's name. Another showed an old business loan. Maya picked it up. She knew that loan. Her mother had taken it years earlier to save the family home. Maya had helped her pay it back. But the document showed something she had never known. The loan had been connected to a private company. A company controlled by one person. Maya's mother had signed the original agreement without knowing who stood behind it. Maya looked at Ethan. "Who owns this company?" Ethan did not answer. Maya's hands began to shake. "Who?" Ethan finally said the name. "Your uncle, Richard." Maya stopped. Richard was her mother's older brother. He had always been distant. He had rarely visited. But Maya remembered him from childhood. He had been the person who helped the family when money was tight. At least, that was what everyone believed. "No," Maya whispered. Ethan nodded. "Richard started the plan." Maya felt like the floor had disappeared beneath her. "Why?" "Because he believed your mother owed him." "Owed him what?" "More than money." Ethan explained that years earlier, Richard had invested in a small family business. When the business failed, he blamed Maya's mother. He believed she had caused him to lose everything. But Richard did not want revenge in a simple way. He wanted control. He discovered that Maya was building her own company. He saw an opportunity. Richard believed he could use Maya's identity and financial records to create debts and legal problems around her business. Then he could buy the company cheaply. Maya stared at the documents. And Sarah? She worked for Richard. Maya's heart sank. Sarah knew him. Yes. How? Ethan hesitated. Sarah had been working with him before she became your friend. Maya closed her eyes. The pain was almost physical. All those years. All those conversations. All those moments. They had been built on a lie. But there was still one person she could not understand. Daniel. What about Daniel? Ethan looked at her. He discovered the plan. When? 3 years ago. Before he left me. Yes. Maya stood. So he knew everything. He knew enough. And he still left me. Ethan nodded. He was afraid. Maya turned toward the window. She felt tears in her eyes. She had spent 3 years believing she had been rejected because another woman was better. Now she learned that the truth was worse. Daniel had known something dangerous was happening. He had still chosen to protect himself. He had still left her alone. And he had allowed her to believe she was worthless. Maya turned back. Why did he come back? Ethan's expression changed. Because Richard came after him. Maya frowned. What does that mean? Richard lost control of the company plan. Why? Because your company became too successful. Ethan pointed toward the documents. Richard expected you to fail. But I didn't. No. Ethan smiled. That changed everything. Maya understood. Her success had destroyed their plan. Instead of becoming weak, she had become stronger. Instead of selling her company, she had grown it. Richard had lost his chance. So Daniel returned because he was afraid Richard would expose him. Yes. Maya shook her head. He didn't return because he regretted hurting me. Ethan did not answer. That silence was enough. Maya felt something inside her become calm. For years, she had wanted Daniel to regret leaving her. Now she realized she did not need his regret. She needed the truth. And she finally had it. But Ethan was not finished. There is one more thing. Maya looked at him. What? Ethan took another document from the folder. This is the document that Richard has been looking for. Maya read it. It was a signed agreement. At first, it seemed meaningless. Then she saw the name. Richard. And beneath it was another name. Sarah. The document showed that Sarah had agreed to transfer certain company rights to Richard. But there was something else. A third signature. Daniel's. Maya stared at it. Daniel signed this. Yes. When? 3 years ago. Maya's anger returned. He lied to me again. Ethan nodded. He signed it because Sarah threatened him. With what? Ethan looked at her. Evidence. What evidence? Ethan hesitated. Evidence that Daniel had taken company money. Maya's face went cold. So Daniel was involved. He made one bad choice. One. Ethan looked down. He moved money. How much? Ethan told her. Maya was shocked. It was enough to destroy a person financially. But Ethan quickly added. Daniel returned most of it. Maya looked at him. Why? Because he realized what Richard was planning. So he tried to fix it. Yes. But he never told me. No. Maya slowly sat down. The room became silent. She had spent years blaming herself. She had believed another woman had been more beautiful, more exciting, more important. Now she understood that her breakup had never been about her worth. It had been about a plan built around money, control, and lies. But there was one thing Maya could not forgive. Daniel had known enough to warn her. He had chosen silence. Ethan stood. You need to leave the city. Maya looked at him. Why? Because Richard knows you have the documents. Then I won't run. Ethan frowned. What? I spent 3 years running from what happened. Maya picked up the folder. I am not running anymore. You don't understand. I understand perfectly. She looked directly at him. You helped them. Ethan looked ashamed. I know. Then help me now. He stared at her. What do you want? Everything. She placed the documents on the desk. Every message. Every transfer. Every name. Ethan hesitated. If I give you everything, Richard will destroy me. Maya looked at him calmly. He will destroy you anyway if you keep protecting him. Ethan was silent. Then he reached into his jacket. He pulled out a small recording device. I kept this for 3 years. Maya looked at it. What is it? The meeting where Richard gave us the final instructions. Maya's heart raced. Does it mention me? Yes. Does it mention Daniel? Yes. Sarah? Yes. Then play it. Ethan pressed the button. A man's voice filled the room. Maya recognized it immediately. Richard. Her uncle. His voice was calm. Cold. He was giving instructions. Then Maya heard Sarah's voice. Then Daniel's. The conversation continued. Maya listened in silence. And then she heard something that made her blood run cold. Richard said, "If Maya refuses to cooperate, we use her mother." Maya covered her mouth. Her eyes filled with tears. But the recording continued. Richard spoke again. "Daniel will make sure she trusts him until the papers are signed." Maya looked at Ethan. "What papers?" Ethan looked away. "The ownership papers." Maya's heart sank. Daniel had not simply been planning to leave her. He had originally been ordered to convince her to sign away control of her company. And then the recording revealed something even worse. Richard said, "After that, Daniel can leave her. Let the other woman take the blame." Maya closed her eyes. The entire story finally made sense. Olivia had been used. Sarah had been used. Daniel had been used. And Maya had been the target. But then the recording reached its final minute. Richard's voice became quieter. "There is only one problem." Sarah asked, "What problem?" Richard answered, "Maya's mother knows where the original agreement is." Maya opened her eyes. She suddenly understood why her mother had been threatened. Richard was not looking for Maya's company anymore. He was looking for something her mother had hidden years ago. Something powerful enough to destroy him. The recording ended. Maya stared at Ethan. "What is the original agreement?" Ethan shook his head. "I don't know." Before Maya could respond, her phone rang. The screen showed her mother's number. She answered immediately. "Mom." There was no reply. Only breathing. Then a man's voice came through. "Richard." "Maya." Her blood went cold. "You found the recording," he said. Maya stood completely still. "How?" Richard laughed softly. "You still don't understand." His voice became colder. "I never wanted your company." Maya's heart stopped. "Then what do you want?" There was a long silence. Then Richard said, "I want what your mother stole from me 20 years ago." The call ended. Maya stared at the phone. Ethan looked terrified. And for the first time, Maya realized that the revenge she had been imagining was not the end of the story. It was only the beginning. Maya stared at her phone. The call had ended. Richard's final words remained in her mind. "I want what your mother stole from me 20 years ago." For a moment, Maya could not move. Then she looked at Ethan. "What did my mother steal?" Ethan shook his head. "I don't know." Maya's voice became firm. "Then find out." Ethan looked surprised. "You're not going to run?" "No. You should." Maya picked up the folder. "I spent 3 years thinking I was the problem." She looked at the photograph of Daniel. "I thought another woman had taken the man I loved." Her eyes became cold. "Now I know my whole life was being controlled by people who thought I was weak." She closed the folder. They were wrong. Maya called her mother again. This time, her mother answered. "Maya." "Mom, where are you?" There was a pause. "At home." "Is Richard there?" Another pause. "No." Maya heard the fear in her mother's voice. "Mom, what did you take from Richard?" Her mother became silent. Maya closed her eyes. "Please tell her." Ethan stepped away to give her privacy. Finally, her mother spoke. "It was not stolen." Maya waited. "Your uncle had a business partner many years ago. His name was Thomas." "Thomas?" "Yes. Richard blamed him when the business failed." "What happened to him?" "He disappeared." Maya's heart tightened. "Why?" Her mother took a shaky breath. "Because Richard blamed him for everything." Maya listened. Her mother explained that Thomas had discovered Richard was moving company money into private accounts. He had collected proof. Before he could expose Richard, the business collapsed. Thomas disappeared. But he left the evidence with Maya's mother. She kept it hidden. Maya asked. "Yes." "Where?" Her mother hesitated. "In a place Richard could never search." Maya waited. "Where?" Her mother's voice became quiet. "Inside your father's old house." Maya froze. Her father had died years earlier. The house had been sold long ago. But Maya remembered something. Before the sale, her mother had packed several old boxes. One of them had belonged to her father. Maya suddenly understood. The storage unit. Her mother said nothing. Maya grabbed her coat. I know where it is. Ethan stood. I'll come with you. Maya looked at him. You have one chance to make this right. I know. Then don't lie to me again. I won't. They drove together. Maya did not trust Ethan. But she knew he had become afraid of Richard too. That fear could make him dangerous. It could also make him useful. The storage unit was small and dusty. Maya unlocked it. Old furniture covered most of the room. She searched through boxes until she found one with her father's handwriting. Her mother's initials were written underneath. Maya opened it. Inside were old photographs, letters, bank records, and a small black notebook. She opened the notebook. The first page contained a name. Richard Carter. Maya's heart began to beat faster. She turned the pages. There were dates, payments, names, amounts of money. Everything Richard had tried to hide for 20 years was written down. Then Maya found a sealed envelope. It had her father's name on it. She opened it carefully. Inside was a letter. The letter explained everything. Richard had not simply lost his business. He had stolen from it. Thomas had discovered the theft. Maya's father had helped Thomas collect evidence. Richard had found out. After that, Maya's father had warned Maya's mother to keep the evidence hidden. But there was one more detail. The letter contained a final sentence. If Richard ever comes after Maya, give her the evidence. She will know what to do. Maya's eyes filled with tears. Her father had written that sentence years before she even understood the danger around her. She held the letter against her chest. For the first time in years, she felt as if her father was protecting her again. Then she looked at Ethan. We have enough. Ethan nodded. No, he said. Maya looked at him. We have more than enough. They returned to Maya's office. She contacted Mr. Harris. She showed him everything. The recordings. The financial documents. The fake signatures. The old notebook. The letters. The evidence connecting Richard, Sarah, Ethan, and Daniel. Mr. Harris listened carefully. Then he looked at Maya. This is serious. I know. You could take this to the authorities. Maya nodded. But I want everything documented first. That is wise. Maya spent the next several hours organizing the evidence. She did not make threats. She did not call Richard. She did not tell Sarah what she had found. She simply waited. Then Daniel appeared at her office. Maya looked at him through the glass door. He looked exhausted. But this time, Maya did not feel sorry for him. You came back, she said. Daniel nodded. I heard from Ethan. Why are you here? Daniel looked down. To tell you the truth. You should have done that 3 years ago. I know. He stepped inside. I was afraid. Maya looked at him. You were afraid, so you destroyed my life. Daniel's eyes filled with regret. I thought leaving you would keep you safe. You didn't keep me safe. No. You left me thinking I wasn't enough. Daniel's voice broke. You were never the problem. Maya remained silent. He reached into his pocket. I brought something. He placed a small envelope on her desk. Maya opened it. Inside was a signed statement. It explained Daniel's role in the plan. He admitted that Sarah had manipulated him. He admitted that he had helped move money. He admitted that he had planned to convince Maya to sign away control of her company. And he admitted that he had left her after the plan failed. Maya read the final page. Daniel had signed it. Why now? She asked. Because I finally understand what I did. You want forgiveness. He looked at her. Yes. Maya folded the statement. You came back because your life fell apart. Daniel lowered his eyes. Yes. Not because you suddenly remembered how much you loved me. He said nothing. Maya nodded. That is what I thought. Daniel looked at her. Maya, I would do anything to go back. You can't. I know. You cannot undo what happened. I know. You cannot give me those years back. Daniel's eyes filled with tears. I know. Maya looked at him calmly. But you can tell the truth. Daniel nodded. I will. He left. Maya watched him walk away. There was no anger in her heart. Only peace. The next morning, the evidence was handed over. The investigation began. Sarah was questioned first. At first, she denied everything. Then the recordings appeared. The bank records followed. Then the forged documents. Her story collapsed. Ethan cooperated. Daniel cooperated. And finally, Richard was confronted with the evidence. He tried to deny everything. But the old notebook destroyed his story. The records matched the dates. The payments matched the accounts. The recording matched the voices. Richard could no longer blame anyone else. His carefully built life began to collapse. The man who had spent years controlling other people suddenly had no control left. Sarah faced the consequences of her actions. Ethan lost the position he had held in Maya's company. But because he had eventually cooperated and told the truth, Maya chose not to destroy his future. Daniel lost almost everything. But Maya did not celebrate. She did not need to. The truth was enough. Weeks later, Maya stood inside her office. The investigation was still continuing. Her company was safe. Her mother was safe. The people who had betrayed her were finally facing the consequences. Then Daniel came one last time. He stood at the door. Maya. She looked up. I wanted to say goodbye. She nodded. Daniel walked inside. I loved you. Maya looked at him. Maybe you did. He swallowed. But you didn't know how to love me. He nodded. You're right. I spent years thinking you left because another woman was better. Daniel shook his head. She wasn't. Maya smiled faintly. I know that now. He looked at her. Is there any chance? Maya understood the question. She had expected to feel anger. Instead, she felt nothing. No. Daniel closed his eyes. Because of what I did. No. He looked at her. Then why? Maya answered quietly. Because I don't want the old life anymore. Daniel nodded slowly. He accepted the answer. Before leaving, he turned around. Maya. Yes. You won. She looked at him. No. Daniel frowned. I didn't win. She looked toward the window. I lost 3 years. Then she turned back. But I found myself. Daniel said nothing. He walked away. Maya watched him disappear down the hallway. For the first time, she did not feel abandoned. She felt free. Months later, her company became more successful than ever. Her mother moved closer to her. Maya kept the old notebook in a locked drawer. Not because she feared the past. Because it reminded her of how far she had come. One evening, Maya returned home after a long day. There was an envelope waiting by her door. No return address. Her heart stopped for a second. She opened it. Inside was a single photograph. It showed her father standing beside Thomas 20 years earlier. On the back was a handwritten note. Thomas never disappeared. Maya stared at the words. Her hands began to shake. There was another line beneath it. He has been watching Richard all these years. Maya looked toward the window. For a moment, she wondered who had sent it. Then her phone rang. An unknown number. Maya answered. No one spoke. Then a man's voice came through. Old. Calm. Familiar, somehow. Your father told me that one day you would need the truth. Maya stood completely still. Who is this? The man answered. My name is Thomas. Maya's eyes widened. And there is something your father never told your mother. The call ended. Maya slowly lowered the phone. She had finally defeated the people who had betrayed her. She had rebuilt her life. She had walked away from Daniel. She had won her freedom. But now she understood something. The story that had destroyed her life 3 years ago had never really been about Daniel. It had started 20 years earlier. And the man who knew the full truth had just returned. For the first time, Maya was not afraid of what came next. She was ready. Because this time, the truth would not find her broken. It would find her stronger than everyone who had tried to destroy her.